All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar, this New Year's reception here from Struct HQ in Odense. It looks like people are still filtering into the webinar here, so please say hi in the chat. If anyone has any issues with the sound or anything like that, let us know. We hope that you can hear us. So while we wait, Simon, it's been a year since we had last New Year's reception, and we've had quite a year.
Oh yes, a lot has been happening since last we did this. Fortunately, we've been doing a lot of exciting stuff with Struct. So yeah, we feel like we're at a very good place now, and we're looking forward to 2026 as well.
Yeah,
and the thing that's coming.
Indeed. Did you have a good Christmas vacation?
Oh yes, I had time to actually just relax and do pretty much nothing, just enjoy time with family and friends, and so. Yeah, that was really good.
That's good. They say Christmas is for the children, and we do know that Struct PIM is like your second child.
Oh,
so
yes.
What you're saying is you actually didn't do anything good for your second child. This Christmas.
Yeah, that might be true.
Okay.
Contrary to the year before, where we had a lot just before launching Struct PIM 4, there was a lot of things to do. But this year, everything's been quiet.
That's good. Well, I think let's start with the agenda here in this webinar here. My name is of course Per Orloff Poulsen. I'm a partner sales specialist here at Struct, and you've already met Simon.
Yeah, I'm Simon. I'm the CTO here at Struct, so I oversee the day-to-day development of the platform and make sure that we deliver all the things that both clients and partners want from us.
Great. Yeah, and a couple of practical information before we dive into the actual agenda here. We are recording this, so we will send this out afterwards. You will be getting an email within the next day here or so with the recording. Please also ask questions in the chat as we move along. We will try to answer them as we go through each of the different segments. And of course, we will also do a Q&A, a follow-up at the end if any questions are still remaining. We will also send out the presentation here, so you will get that in the mail as well. So for the agenda, as you can see here on the screen, first we'll talk a little bit about 2025. What happened in the last year here? What is the review that we can do on that year? Then we'll move on to talk a little bit about Struct PIM 3 and the status on that. We'll also be talking after that on how you get from Struct PIM 3 up to Struct PIM 4. And then we will discuss what's new in Struct and what's coming up in the coming year here for Struct PIM 4. So let's move on to the 2025 in review here. So as we just mentioned, last year we had this New Year's reception as well, and at that we launched Struct PIM 4. So Struct PIM 4 was launched in January last year, and many of you will hopefully remember that. We had that launch then. It's been quite a ride, but a great one. We had new clients starting on Struct PIM 4 almost from the beginning in January, right after the release, and then we in the spring started the migration projects for the first couple of customers from Struct PIM 3, and we'll talk a little bit more about that process later on. Of course, after we started the migrations, we realized that okay, we need to do a little bit something about the way that we handle support, because a lot of support tickets come in, and before it was the product team that handled it. That didn't really work as well, because the product team is supposed to be working on the product and not handle support. So we decided to do a dedicated support team, of course, to ensure that our clients, our customers, and partners get the best possible support from us. So we launched the dedicated support team. We now have 4 guys sitting on the support team, fully dedicated to help our clients and partners. And you can write to the support team at help@struct.dk. Last year, the support team did a really great job. They resolved more than 1,500 tickets, anything from bugs that needed to be fixing, to answering questions, to getting feature requests and so on. I think we can be quite proud on the time to first response, which is below 2 hours, as we can see here. 1 hour and 17 minutes is the average, and again the time to resolution is less than 24 hours here. So within 3 working days, everyone has gotten a resolution, or in average on the tickets here. And of course, these are averages, so by far most people get a very, very short response and time to resolution, and then there are a couple of stragglers. That's the way statistics work. Yeah. So if there's a couple that take a little bit longer, that is typically drawing the numbers up here. So, but I think we can safely say we're quite pleased with the numbers here.
Oh yes, very much.
Yeah. Along with Struct PIM 4, we also released a new documentation site, and we've been building that throughout the whole year here, and we can see here at docs.struct.com where it's available. Of course, it has the same fundamental concepts and so on that we had in the Struct PIM 3 documentation, but we have been working on expanding that with various tutorials, references to how the system works, videos on certain features. There's also a section around migrating to Struct PIM 3 and so on. So an expanded documentation for Struct PIM 4, and we can safely say we are not done yet. Of course, it will never be perfect, but we will do as good a job as possible of keeping this up to date and getting more and more information in here as time moves on. We also launched our Struct PIM 4 newsletter here. You can go into struct.com and sign up for that. And we have divided into 3 different groups here. One, of course, is the community newsletter, which will be sent out 4 times a year. So that has some more general information around Struct. The changelog is sent out each month and will sum up the various functionalities and features and so on that have been released in the month that has just passed. And there are some quite funny fun facts in those as well. So a little bit of humor goes a long way there. And then, of course, we also saw in 2025 that various services that we used had issues. Let's not name them here, but some of the major, cloud vendors had issues in the last year here, and that required us to also make a status update newsletter that you can sign up for. So should something happen like that again, we will send out mails around that. Oh, yeah. And finally, here in November, we launched a little internal project in the development team, No Bug November here. And that was, we wanted to get the number of known bugs in Struct PIM 3 down to 0, simply because that would allow us to get to be able to handle incoming support tickets and so on with bugs a lot easier than if we had a whole bunch of bugs. So we didn't focus on new features in November. We focused on getting the bugs down, and we are proud to say that as of the 30th of November, we did have no known bugs in Struct PIM 4. That number has probably increased a little bit because stuff happens, but we are now in a very good position to keep that number very, very low. So
and we aim at having that at 0. So every week when we do a new release, we look into trying to have all the bugs resolved for the next week's release. So the aim is to always have 0 known bugs on the platform. So that's what we are always focusing on, actually achieving that.
Yeah, and with the dedicated product team and with the support team, that's actually a lot easier for us to accomplish, because we also do have great help from the support team in handling many of these minor things that can be easily resolved.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. Right. So all in all, 2025, I think, was a really great year. Of course, Struct PIM 4 was a big launch for us, and we are quite happy with the way that it has happened. And I think you and the product team can be very proud of the work that you've done on Struct PIM 4. So we're talking a lot about Struct PIM 4, so let's talk a little bit about Struct PIM 3 before moving on. As we mentioned in last year's review, when we released Struct PIM 4, we also mentioned that Struct PIM 3 had end of life in 2026, and the end of life date is December 14, 2026. What does that mean for those of our clients who are on Struct PIM 3, Simon?
Yeah, it means that you need to migrate to Struct PIM 4 before this date. We will, of course, make sure that the platform runs, and we will, of course, make sure that the platform still works as it should. But as of the end of life, we will not stop supporting it actively. So we will want every one of our clients to move to Struct PIM 4 before then. So we have everyone running on the same platform, getting all the same benefits that the new platform provides here. Of course, there might be individual cases where this can be somewhat of a challenge. If that is the case, then we urge everyone to reach out to us to say we are not going to be able to make that transition before the end of life, and we will need to make a certain agreement with you guys to see how can we help you move forward as fast as possible, and how can we sort of handle this situation.
Yeah. So let's look at how upgrading from Struct PIM 3 to Struct PIM 4 actually looks. In most cases, as you said, it's actually quite a simple procedure here. And a reminder for the chat here, please do answer or ask any questions that you might have during the various segments here. We'll do our best to answer them. So upgrading to Struct PIM 4, we have a planned process or procedure for that. It happens in collaboration between us here at Struct, between you, the client, and your partner that you have here. Reach out to your partner, reach out to us directly, and we will get that process started. It starts with us sharing a migration document, and that document contains all the various information about the new system, how to move from that and into Struct PIM 4, and also contains any breaking changes there are. And I should say there are very, very few breaking changes. Yeah. We've done a really it's been important for us to ensure that we could move as easily as possible. So, for example, the API is, I don't know, is it 99%, 99.5? It's really, really close in the way that it's set up. So there shouldn't be any major breaking changes. Once we have agreed upon a start date, the migration document has been shared. The partner may have had time to do some estimates on how to upgrade integrations and so on. We here at Struct will create a Struct PIM 4 instance, and we will do a test migration. We will migrate all your data. We will migrate all your assets to the new Struct PIM 4 test instance here. The only thing that you need to do as a client is to create new user logins. This is because Struct PIM 4 comes with a brand new user login system or a user management system that doesn't allow us to copy things over, and also in the name of security, creating new users is probably the best way to go. But that's the only thing that you really need to start from scratch. Once we've done the migration of data and assets and you have created new users, the partner can go in and test the integrations, make the minor changes and updates, pointing the integration to a new IP address or to get everything to work. So the partner does that, and of course also tests that the integrations are running in the test environment here. Once the integration is up and running, it's then the client's turn to look at the system. The client reviews the data that we have migrated and the assets that we have migrated as well, and tests, do the integrations work in the way that we have agreed upon with the partner. And finally, once that has all been done here, it's time to adopt the new instance. That means we will do the final migration. So up until now, we've done a test migration. We will do the final migration here to a live environment, and then the system is up and running. And as it says here, Struct PIM 3, the instance is shut down. It won't be deleted, so we can always start it up again within a certain period. So that's the process. Simon, can you give us a status on how do clients feel about this process up until now?
Well, up until now, we've had quite some good experiences. We are trying to do this migration from our behalf as easy as possible. So we've built automation scripts that can do this automatically. So we spend as little time and effort doing that as possible. It's also important to know that this migration that we do that free of charge. So it's not something that has any economic consequences to clients to do that here. So up until now, we are quite satisfied with the way it's been running with the migrations that we've done. We've seen almost no situations where there have been problems with it here. So definitely we are content with doing this going forward.
Yeah, and the minor issues that we have had, some have been in the migration tools, and we've been able to quite easily fix those as we go along here. We have a short testimonial here from one of our clients here, Herman Holberg, PIM coordinator at EULA, wrote to us with this information here. And as he says here, Struct PIM 4 raises the experience as an editor working in the system. The migration from version 3 to 4 went really smooth without any problems. This was also due to our partner doing a great job, so the transition was almost seamless. And as he says here, I will say the version 4 is super nice. It gives a modern look and feel to a nice PIM system. The editors and users appreciate the tools. All our editors are super happy, and you should migrate to the newest version and do it now. So a really nice testimonial from Herman here, which is very much in line with what we've heard from other parties as well. So thank you to Herman for that.
Yes.
Yeah. So the process is quite easy and simple. How long would it take approximately to do a migration?
Yeah. I mean, typically we can see that we can do a process in most cases within 2-3 weeks. Most of the time goes with actually, planning the process and preparing to do the actual transition, and not so much doing the actual migration. The tools that we do, depending on the number of assets and so forth, can do the migration within, 1 or 4 hours, something like that. So it's not necessarily a very time-consuming thing to do if you prioritize the resources to it.
Yeah, sounds good. So we've heard that it's an easy process. We've heard from Herman here that it's an upgrade to the user experience and so on. So can you take us through a little bit some of the functionalities that have been added onto Struct PIM 4 here in the last year? Of course, last year when we did the Struct PIM 4 release, we talked about it's a new system, it's more modern, the user experience is better. We had some new features such as the new media archive, the business units functionality as well, and those are all, of course, something that came with Struct PIM 4. What have you added onto the system here in the last year that the clients have access to?
Yes. Of course, we've spent a lot of time in the previous year making sure that the platform was stable, also looking into making sure we had 0 known bugs in the platform. So that has, of course, taken some resources to do so. And as Per mentioned, we already added new features to the platform, which we've gone through at the last New Year's reception. But apart from that, we have also added new things to the platform. First and foremost, we'd like to mention that as in Struct PIM 3, we have an AI module, an AI assistant, which is an option you can buy for the platform. That AI assistant gives the possibility to do generative texts, generating product descriptions and so forth, and also doing translations using AI in the platform. These tools are now included in Struct PIM 4, so that's not an option to buy anymore. So that's something that you get out of the box once you upgrade to Struct PIM 4. So that's one thing to mention. Furthermore, we are adding new models. Some of the models that's been very relevant of late is the new ones from Claude and Gemini. We've always had OpenAI support, and all the models in OpenAI, we've supported those, but now we also support Claude and Gemini here. And also for translations, we also keep looking into dedicated translation AI tools that can do a good job. And one of them is DeepL, which we've integrated as well. So you can use that for translation. DeepL is really good at doing translation and complex things like having dictionaries where you make sure that you translate things in a certain way that corresponds to your brands. Then we've added something called category field inheritance to the platform. We've always been able to do inheritance from product to variants of different data types. Now we've added the support to also do that from a category to category, meaning that if you have a category structure of, say, 3 levels, and you set some data on the first level, then you can inherit that to the lower levels of those categories here. That's also something that has been requested from partners and clients alike, so that's why that's become part of the platform. Then we've added side-by-side translation and bulk translation. So we've added UI to do translations and have a clear, clutter-free view when you do translations of data from 1 to multiple languages within the platform, and also using AI in that process. Then we've added the notification center, which allows us to actually show notifications to users whenever something happens in the platform. So we can send out notifications either as emails or just show them within the platform here. So that's also something new that's come to the platform in the last year. We've also added something new, which we call data analysis, and that's really some sort of an umbrella upon multiple tools, so to speak. Data analysis will allow clients to do certain analysis on the data they have in the platform. Until now, we've added one type of analysis that you can do on your data, which is called duplicate detection, which really allows us to find data that is duplicate products that are actually duplicate due to some data being the same. And we will add more different analysis types here, to finding outliers, to looking for inconsistency in data and so forth going forward. Then just recently, we have created what we call an AI data extraction tool, which allows us to actually pull data from unstructured sources such as the web or files or something like that, and actually curate that into the PIM model that you have. So you don't necessarily have to source those data yourselves, but you can have an AI actually go and find that either on the web or through some document that you have that already contains that information here. So that's something that we are just launching as we speak right now. Then we've also added hotspots to assets. With our new media archive, we're able to do so much more with assets in the platform than what we could do with Struct PIM 3. And there will be a lot of things going on with the media archive going forward. But one of the things that we've just added right now is also the ability to add hotspots to your assets, so you can work with them like that in the platform. And as we always do, we like to actually show things. So we'd like to actually demo some of these things here, so you can see how it actually looks here. So if I go into a Struct PIM here, it should be recognizable to some of you. I won't go through everything in Struct PIM 4. I'll go through some of these new things in here to show you how that looks and how that works. If you want to see like a full demo of Struct PIM 4, reach out to your partner or to us to get that. And otherwise, I recommend going into docs.struct.com, the documentation site. You'll see videos in there as well, showcasing some of the things that you can do in Struct PIM 4. Now, if we look at Struct PIM 4, one of the things I mentioned that we've added was the hotspots to our assets. So what we can do is we can go into our settings and we can define different types of assets that can be uploaded to the media archive. If we have something like an image here, we can go in and define hotspots where we can say, okay, I should be able to add a point hotspot, and I can then add a model saying what data do I want to be able to add to this point in here. I can also add a area hotspot where you would define that you should be able to define an area on your assets to actually do. When I've set this up here on the asset type, what that does is that if I go into my media archive and I have an image like this one, you can see I have a hotspots over here. So as we see, I don't have any hotspots currently, but I can go in and say, okay, I'll right click this one and I'll add a product point here. And I'll say this is a T-shirt. And it is a boss, Hugo Boss here, like that. And save that here. And now we have a point on this image actually pointing to this. I could also add say I want to add an area here stating that I want to have these pants here outlined. And then I can search for perhaps 501. This is these Levi's pants here. So I can add different hotspots on my images where I sort of outline, this is the thing that is on these images here. So that this is a typical example where you like, some sort of shop the look or something like that, but there are multiple use cases where you can use that to actually tag things that is on an image and provide some data for that tag in here. So you can use that in your front end channels to display and give a really nice user experience to your end users. So that's one of the new things that we are just releasing as we speak right now. Here. One of the things that we've had for a while is the ability to have notifications. You'll see up here that we have this notifications tab here. It works very much like we all know from Facebook and so forth, where you get a feed here of the notifications that's relevant for you. You will get a little markup here if you have unviewed notifications. I can go in here and view the settings for my notifications here. So by default, you will get the notifications within the platform, meaning that you will get notifications in here whenever something happens. But you see here that there are different things that you can control if you want an email instead, and also, so whenever you get a new task assigned to you, I want to have an email for that, or whenever someone mentions me somewhere, I'll want an email for that as well. And we've also, in relation to this, we've added the ability to actually do mentioning of other people in the PIM system. So for example, if I go here and we have this tab called product notes here, you'll see that by using this one, I can tag Per and see, Per, can you please find some more images for this product? And then add that note. And because I've tagged Per, Per will now get a notification. And as per his setup, he will either just get it in the platform or he will get it as an email as well in here. So the notification center is also something new that we've added quite some time ago, actually.
And you can set it up so that you get an email immediately, or you can just digest and have it every 24 hours. So the system doesn't spam you with mails unless you really want it to. I really love this feature because having the ability to mention people in here allows our clients to actually have all the communication around their products inside of the PIM system instead of having it in various mailboxes. And when people then eventually leave the company, all the information is gone. So you can actually have that information in your PIM system now, and you can then see what have we done with this product historically, what have been the reason why we made this and this change. So I really, really do love this feature.
Exactly. And we've tried to add this mentioning feature in the places where it makes sense. So you see here, I'm using it a task that's been assigned to someone. And in the comments section here, I can also tag people. So if you have a task that revolves around something, solving something, you can also have communication here where you tag each other to sort of make them aware that there's something I need your input on here. So that's also something new that we've added, which has actually been here for some time, and people have been really liking that as well. One of the other things that we have just added right now is this data extraction AI feature. It's no secret that we're looking a lot into how can we improve the platform with the AI, and this is really one of the things that we believe will make a huge difference to our clients. What you're able to do is that you can configure a data extractor in the platform. I won't go through the setup of that, but I'll show you how it works once it's configured. When you configure it, you have an data extraction icon up here, and when I press that, I'll get the different sort of setups that we've created available to me as a user here. So in this case, we've created two setups, one for extracting marketing data, another one for extracting the specifications. So here we're looking at an iPhone, and if we look at it here, we see I'm missing the technical specifications for this iPhone. I simply don't have it. Also, my marketing tab is a bit bleak. I don't have that in here. So I'd like to sort of source that. I could go and find that myself, find out what's the resolution of the screen and so forth. But what I could also do is using this data extractor tool. The first one we released here is able to go online and look for that information. If we start by looking at the marketing here, we can see that we can ask it to go online and actually find information. And this is information that's found online for this product right here. So it's found another image for it. It's also found a short description that we can use, but it has also found some USPs that we can actually add in here. We see here that this is the actual source it's been using to finding this, and it also gives us a hint as to how certain is it that this value is correct right here. So once it's found something, I can approve that here and then apply the changes. So it's always a human that sort of validates if it's all right, that it has suggested, so you can do that. If we look at another case for the specifications here, we can go in and say, okay, I want you to find specifications online for this as per the setup that we've done. What we've done in the setup is that we've defined these are the attributes that are actually the specifications for this product. And once we've done that, this is what we are requesting to get data for. And now you're seeing here that it has found a lot of information for this iPhone 7, such as whether it has Bluetooth, what's the Bluetooth version, what's the color, what's the weight and size and height and so forth here. And we also see what's the source of this information here. So I can click that and go and verify if it's correct in here. One thing that might be worth noting also is that if you see here, we have the operating system, and the operating system is a drop down here. So I'll have to select from predefined values in the PIM system. And you might see in cases where, the thing that is found online, you see here, it's found that it's iOS. and then it does the mapping to the right thing that we have in the PIM system, because we can't make sure that the actual text that we find online actually matches 100% what we have in the PIM system. But the AI will help us do that mapping so we get the correct thing here. You also see a case here where we actually have the weight divided into two fields where we have both the weight and the unit here. So this is a feature that we've added and are currently rolling out to our clients right now, which we expect a lot from. And as I mentioned, currently we can do that from online sources, but very soon you'll be able to also do that from PDFs. So for example, if you've added a document with the details about this product, you could also use that as the source to find that information instead of the extractor going online here. So this is really a feature that we are very much looking forward to rolling out and getting feedback on from our clients here.
And of course, AI moves at lightning speed, so something that we will also continuously keep updating here. We do have some questions coming in from various people here. One of them here from Bo, I think relates to the mentioning feature before here, where he asked, does this also support mentioning roles instead of users? And,
yeah, currently it's only users that you can mention in here. Yes.
Then another question here from Saskia here, for the AI text generation tool on Struct PIM 4, can you train it on your brand's tone of voice so your product descriptions are more on brand? And,
yes,
we can do that here.
Yes, definitely. You can set up the prompting exactly how you want, so you make sure that the text that generates matches your tone of voice and your brand completely. You can even attach it to your own fine-tuned models or your own agents. So if you have agents in OpenAI or Copilot which have already been trained to know a lot about your company, you can use that as the basis for generating your text as well.
Yeah, we do also have some questions relating to the migration process here. So if we just go back a little bit and discuss those.
Yes.
One of the questions here is this process, the migration process, applied iteratively to each environment or all environments at the same time? And this is per client environment that we will migrate. So we won't migrate all of them at the same time. So reach out to us with whether you're a client or a partner working with a client, and we will migrate that particular client on agreement here. There's also a question regarding, if we wish to continue using Struct PIM 3. This comes from Frank here. Can we keep that running maybe as an archive solution after the end of life?
Yes, and again, that's reach out to us, and we'll see how what deal we can do about that, and how we can make that happen. We are very much flexible and want to make a good solution for everyone. So let's see what the needs are and what we can do to accommodate that.
Yeah. At the end of life, it is due to a security. Security is no longer being updated in the software that we're using for Struct PIM 3. So we do recommend that you no longer use it as a live system. So get upgraded to Struct PIM 4 so we can ensure security going forward as well. So the last question here regarding the migrations here. Do you need to change your license agreement from Basic to Pro to utilize the new features in Struct 4? Generally speaking, the license versions are exactly the same in Struct PIM 4 as they are in Struct PIM 3. So the features you have access to in Struct PIM 3 are all the same functionalities that you will have access to in Struct PIM 4. As for new functionalities coming in, we try to evaluate where we think they belong, and various users will get access. You will always be able to check up on that on struct.com/pricing, where we can actually see the feature list as well. So you don't need to change your license unless there are new functionalities that you want to have access to.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that was just a short demo on some of the things that we've added to the new platform here, which we wanted to show you today here. And again, as I mentioned, if you want a full demo of the system, reach out to your partners to get that.
Upcoming features.
Yes.
I think there are a lot of people who are interested in learning about what's coming up with Struct PIM 4.
Yeah, I guess we need to touch upon that as well, because of course we won't just say this is it and we're not going to build anymore. We will do a lot of things in 2026 as well here. We are currently working on the grid edit feature. Just to tell you a bit about what that is. The grid edit is really about the table view that you have of your products and variants in the system, allowing you to actually edit the data directly in that table instead of having to go to the products to edit and then go back here. That is something we're working on now and expect to have finished very soon. Same goes for Microsoft Entra ID integration, where we want to add support for doing more complex integrations with Entra ID for those who use that. So you'll be able to map your user groups in Entra ID to user groups and roles in Struct PIM, so that users are automatically giving the correct permissions in Struct PIM as per the setup that they have in Entra ID, and also is given access to Struct PIM if they have access to Entra ID, and vice versa, are sort of rejected from access to Struct PIM if they are not able to log into the Entra ID integration.
Can you stop people from using the normal login functionality?
Yes.
When this is
with this Entra ID integration, you'll be able to stop them. Say, we require you to log in using our Entra ID connection here, otherwise you won't get access to our Struct PIM. Another thing we will be working on this year is connectors, specifically Business Central and eTIM. This is something we're getting a lot of requests for from clients and partners alike, where we really want to be able to help facilitating that here. So that's also something we'll be working on. Then today we have a supplier portal which can do a lot of things. We've also gained a lot of experience during the years of using this supplier portal. We've tried to sort of gather all that experience into a project which we call Supplier Portal 2.0, where we want to build a new version of the supplier portal which tries to incorporate all the feedback and all the experiences that we've gotten from previous clients who've been using the current version to make sure that we have a version which facilitates all the new requirements that we see coming here. So that's also a project that we are doing this year.
Yeah. And we'll also upgrade the user experience and so on, so that it's more in line with the main product. Right now there's a little bit of a schism between those two, but yeah, it should be more in line with what we have in the PIM system itself.
Exactly. So this is also something we have quite huge ambitions for. So that's why it's outlined as a specific project. Then we have the entity/asset viewer, which is sort of a public view into something that you want to share. So say you have some assets that you want to share to certain people so they can access that. That will be through the entity viewer, where you'll select a few assets. Say I want to make these available to someone, and then once you've done that, you'll send a mail with a link to those people, and they will be able to access the assets or the entities being products or variants and so forth, which they can go in and view in this entity viewer, and then download the data or the assets from there. Then we also have product drafts, which is a feature we've been circulating around for quite some time. This is really much about being able to do drafts of products, so working with different versions of products, where you sort of say we have a product where we are preparing a new version for that, so we want to create a draft which we are working on with its own workflow, and once we are finished with that, we will merge it back into the actual released product, so you can have different workflows and more complex workflows where you don't want to publish things right away, but want to have a process where you actually curate the information before it actually goes live. And of course, AI plays a huge role. We continue keeping tabs on what's going on and what's feasible to include to facilitate use cases that you typically have in a PIM system. So we try to stay very much alert on that. If new models arrive which are relevant, we are of course including those to be supported within the platform, so you can work directly with those models within the platform. What we're also looking at right now is what's called an MCP server, and what that is sort of a technical term for a general way of talking to a system from an AI perspective. So what that really facilitates once we have that MCP server is the ability to actually talk to your Struct PIM from, say, ChatGPT. So what you would do is that you would use the MCP server to actually connect your Struct PIM to ChatGPT as an example, and then you can write with that Struct PIM within ChatGPT, asking it questions around your product, also asking it to actually create products or do change to products within the system if you have the permissions, of course, here. So that's really like bridging the gap between you have a system like Struct PIM and being able to work with it from chats, but also agents in the whole AI agentic world, because this MCP server is really what facilitates that collaboration between those things. And also, of course, as I mentioned previously, the media archive, where we now have a lot more opportunities to work with assets. That's also a place where we're looking into how can we use AI in working smart with assets, like removing backgrounds from images or inserting images into certain environments, or having other backgrounds of those images here. So that's also something that we are looking at.
Yeah. And as you said, Simon, AI is really, things are moving really fast. New things come up. Perhaps you can talk a little bit about, our general philosophy regarding AI, because we don't want it to just be a gadget. We actually want it to be something that brings value to the user that they can actually use in their everyday.
Yeah, definitely. So what we do when we look at all the different AI tools and AI capabilities that comes up all the time, what we look very much at is what are the use cases that we are seeing in the PIM system and that we are getting information about from our clients. So every time we have a use case, we look into the AI capabilities and how do those match the use cases. So if there is an AI that can sort of facilitate or help a use case being done faster, smarter, or better, that's where AI comes in. So we won't just add AI for the sake of AI. We will look very much at what is it that you're actually trying to accomplish within your PIM system, and how can AI facilitate some of those use cases here. So it's very much from a use case perspective that we're looking at the things you need to do in the PIM system, and then trying to map that into the AI world and see how can AI help with that.
We do have some questions as well here. One of them is actually when you're talking about AI here, from Mogens, who writes, is the idea of MCP servers allowing us to utilize our own AI agents?
Yes, it will. Using the MCP server will make the PIM able to talk to any agent, because that's sort of, the MCP is a protocol for talking between agents. It's an agent-to-agent protocol where they can talk together. So yes, that will facilitate that.
Another question we have here from Nikolai is regarding the Shopify application extension, which is a dependency for some of the clients in Struct PIM 3 that need to upgrade. So can you talk about, the expected timeline for that in Struct PIM 4?
Yes. We are currently sort of migrating the Shopify connector that we have for Struct PIM 3 into Struct PIM 4. And we are actually like 95% done with that now. So we're doing internal testing of that as we speak here. We expect to have it ready within the Q1 2026. And we know we have a list of the clients that are using this connector right now. And as soon as we have it ready, we will reach out to you to say that now we're ready with the Shopify connector, the way we can actually start to try and do migrations and working with that. But expected to be within the first quarter of 2026 here that we have it ready.
Yeah. Another question here from Bo is, do you support splitting import of data sheet that imports into both products and variant groups and related to those? Perhaps you can add a little bit more context, Bo. Is it, during the import functionality, or is it regarding the data extraction functionality? Because in the importer, you can actually today upload variants that contain product information that is added onto the products. So write a follow up there. I don't know, the AI tool is just on the entities that you're looking at. It's not on the variant group. So yeah, if you need any more depth than that, go write a new question here. So Nikolai wrote and asked, when is the AI tool, or when is the Shopify ready here? So I know you don't like to say when things are ready. Can you talk a little bit more about the various functionalities? Can we expect them to come in the order that we have here? What is your view there?
Yeah, the grid edit and the Entra ID integration, those are the first ones that we will release here. They will be here within Q1 as the expectation here. Same goes for the agent, which we are working on in Q1 as well. We are not sure if we will make it completely releasable within Q1, but then it will go a bit into Q2. Q2, Q3, that supplier portal and the MCP server. Those are being used. Those are the focus here, and then rest of the year will be the entity asset viewer and the product drafts.
Yeah, Bo has written a follow up here, and the question is regarding the initial implementation, or if you have ongoing files coming in from the suppliers. Yes, we can do importing today, where you have, when you import variants, you can, in the variant import, you can actually have columns that are product columns that can be added to the products. But we're also looking at adding on to the import functionality so that it has new functionalities going forward, and will probably be related to the supplier portal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you're right, Per. You can have one sheet which contains information for both product and variants here, and then during the import you can map that to whether it's on the product that this data resides or if it's on the variant. So you can do that in one process, so to speak.
There is a question here regarding some from Henrik, who has a question regarding reports in Struct PIM 3 that have been custom designed. Can they be migrated to Struct PIM 4?
I mean, everything that is in Struct PIM 3 today will be migrated to Struct PIM 4. So yes, so if you have some reports set up on your dashboards or something like that, those will be moved into to Struct PIM 4 as well, and will be migrated.
I know some customers have custom development done on Struct PIM 3, which we of course won't support in Struct PIM 4. So if it's something that's been custom developed, it needs to be handled in a different way.
Yeah, but that's very, very few, and I don't think that's the example here.
Okay.
So because that's something we've been involved in. If there is any custom that needs to be handled specifically, so we know of those.
Right, so that's actually the end of the agenda here. We do have a couple of minutes here to catch up on the last the questions. So write them in the chat now. So all in all, I think we are quite happy with the year as it has been going on here. I know I am.
Very much here, so.
Yeah. So unless anyone else has any further questions, I think we should just say thank you for listening here to our webinar here. I can see the time has also run out. We very much look forward to working together with you in 2026 as well. We do recommend you sign up to the various newsletters and so on, so you keep up to date on all the new things that are happening here at Struct HQ. And Happy New Year, and we hope to speak with you soon again.